Hi everybody and welcome to the month of May. I'm not ready for May yet, May's come too soon, so instead I'm going to go back to April and talk about my favourite things. Let's begin with what's down here. I have some boxing gloves. So, you may have seen on my Instagram, I have started boxing. I'm not very good. I'm not planning on being super good at it. I do it because it's a great discipline to learn and it's really good cardio and loads of fun. I'm in the gym most days and I really like working out. I love training, but it's nice to mix it up a little bit, and I feel like just sort of lifting weights constantly and just doing cardio, like I can't run because I've got a bad knee, but doing like cycling or rowing gets a little bit dull. It's nice to mix things up. So there's a guy who does like a weekend class at my gym. His name's Bally and he trains a lot of pro boxers. And he has the patience of a saint, because I was like, this is great, can I start training with you? So once or twice a week now, I do a class at my gym, but once or twice a week I go see him as well. And he's used to training like pro fighters, and then there's me, and I am not very good, but I love it. So I've got some new boxing gloves. These are from Adidas. I don't know anything about them. He sent me a link to them and said these are good, and they're about 30 or 40 quid or something. What I am very excited about though is the thing that goes inside. I bought these off Amazon and they smell amazing. If you know anything about boxing, you know that gloves get sweaty, and then when they get sweaty, they get stinky. And this is like one of those things that absorbs odor and sweat and just wetness and keeps your gloves lasting longer and fresher. And this smells like cedarwood and I love it. But boxing, such good fun. Like, I'm not doing it to be aggressive or like to sort of, I'm never going to get in the ring basically and fight anyone. I just do it because I love it, and it's such a good workout, and it's really kind of good for your brain too. So yeah, boxing. Do you know what? While we're on the subject of sport, I shall stick to it and show you two things. The first of which is this here basketball, which I bought 2 days ago and haven't been able to use it because it's wet outside. I have a basketball court, an outside basketball court. It's free to use right near my house, and you may know this about me. I am not the most sporty of people. I work out a lot and stuff, but I've never been very good at sports. Basketball, however, is the only sport that I'm pretty decent at, and I haven't played for years. And I went to LA, which brings me to my next thing recently. I went to my first LA Lakers game. When I was at school, I was on the basketball team, and the Lakers are always my favorite team, and I love it. I loved it back then, I still love it now. I went to my first game, so I got a jersey, and this is like a special edition jersey for Kobe Bryant, who I believe retired recently, right? I'm not up on my basketball knowledge, so if that's wrong, sorry. But it's really cool, and I work out in it all the time, but bought it at the game. And then got back to London and was like, I love basketball again, so I bought myself a ball. It's a little flat. It needs to get pumped up a bit, but I'm going to get a pump and then shoot some hoops. And who knows, maybe dunk. I'm not going to dunk it, am I? Let's be real, but basketball. The next thing I'm going to talk to you about is my phone. But before I talk to you about my phone, let me talk to you about my screensaver. That's my dog looking really cute. And if I open it, that's me and my wife. Can you see that? I don't know if you can really see, but that's a really cute photo of us. Anyway, this phone is the Google Pixel 2 XL, and I've never mentioned it to you before, I don't think, but I've been using it since it came out. As it happened, I had already pre-ordered the iPhone X, and then Google got in touch and said, hey, do you want one of these? And I was like, yeah, all right, I'll give it a go. And I liked it so much that I then, when my iPhone X arrived, I gave it away because I just didn't want to get rid of this phone because I like it a lot. Firstly, the camera is exceptional. It's the best camera I've ever shot on a phone. You've got the portrait mode and you've got all that stuff, but everything is so sharp and so clear and just so beautiful. It's amazing. But also just little things, like I love the interface. I've never really done Android properly before. I've used Android phones, but never really committed properly. And I'm a big fan of how it works. But a few of my favorite things. One, I love the fingerprint thing being there. I can just hold my phone as I normally would, like that, boop, and it opens. Simple. I can swipe to the right and I get news. I can swipe down on the fingerprint thing and I get all my notifications that come up like that, and I get like access to my menu, sort of the things I use most. It makes loads of sense. I really like it. I guess the reason I'm bringing it up now, even though I've been using it for a long time, is because I really was made to think about it the other day. I was on a shoot that Google invited me to, and in fact, From that shoot, I will be in the window of Selfridges very soon. So if you're in London and you're around the Selfridges area, check it out. But Google and Selfridges have put a exhibition on called Flipside, where they have like lots of luxury brands and stuff, but also lots of like photography and googly type things there. And I went there for this shoot. And in fact, we were standing in this sort of tubey type thing where there's like lights and imagery all around it, but there's like lots of tubes, and it's really hard to explain, but when you stand in it, it looks cool. And you can do that when you go to the exhibition as well. But the entire photo shoot was shot on the phone, and that's going to go in the window of Selfridges, and I think that's so cool, and it really made me think about the quality of the camera. Anyway, if you're interested in going to the exhibition, I'll put a link down there for you as well, but totally worth seeing because it is amazing. This next thing has the potential to be really boring, but bear with me because I actually think it's very cool. Here it comes. I have changed my gas and electricity supplier, which sounds dull, right? But I've always been with, I don't know, British Gas or E.ON or whatever, and they've been fine, nothing wrong with them. But I saw an ad on TV for a company called OVO or OVO, I'm not sure how you say it. But on the ad, I saw that they were delivering renewable energy to people's houses. So the electricity that goes to your house and the gas that goes to your house comes from renewable sources. You might remember that I'm taking this very seriously at the minute. I'm trying my best to reduce my carbon footprint and be a better person and use less plastic and all that stuff. I'm trying to get solar panels on my roof, and I can't because I don't have enough clean roof space. I've got like pipes and aerials and all sorts coming out, and they just can't fit them. And I discovered this. I went on the internet, typed in my postcode, and they gave me a quote. And the quote was actually exactly the same price that I was paying before with my previous supplier. But that was for not entirely green energy. So that was for 30% or 33% green electricity, which basically means 33% of my electricity would have been coming from tidal energy or solar power or geothermal energy or something. For an extra £5, I could make that to 100% green energy, so totally did that. And for an extra £5 on top of that, I could also have 50% green gas. I couldn't have 100% green gas, that's not on offer, but prior to my extra £5, it was 0%. So I think that even if you do the default, and you break even and you're paying the same that you were paying with your previous supplier, the fact that you're getting 33% of your energy coming from green resources is amazing. I'm now paying £10 a month extra than I was, but I can afford that, and for me it gives me peace of mind. You know, I feel much better about it. So if you're interested, if you're thinking about it, if you want to reduce your carbon footprint in some way, what better way than having green power go to your house, because that's where you use most of your energy, right? So I'll put a link down there. I'll put links to everything, but it's called OVO or OVO. Totally worth doing. They're swapped over. It takes like a few weeks to take effect, but they swapped over mine the other day. Easy peasy, no problem. And I just feel better about living in my house now and consuming the energy that I do. I'm going to talk about my favourite films next, and I have two to talk about. The first one I watched on a flight when I was going to LA, so maybe 3 weeks ago or so. And it's kind of newish. It's Jumanji, the new Jumanji. I avoided it in the cinemas because I thought I was going to hate it. I thought it looked a bit like a generic sort of young action type film, and I just thought it was going to be a bit naff. And I watched it on a flight, and I was blown away. It's so funny and so good, and just totally worth seeing. It just made me feel great. You know, it's one of those films that you just chuckle along to. I don't laugh out loud at things. I'm dead on the inside. I tend not to sort of enjoy myself very much. But I was sitting on the flight, and my wife kept sort of nudging me going, "What are you laughing at?" And it really tickled me. I thought it was great. The next film is, of course, Avengers Infinity War. I was a bit concerned because they've spent, 10 years kind of getting to this point. They've been teasing Thanos for a long time. And all of the superheroes are leading roles in their own right. You know, they've all got their own standalone films, and they're all like massive actors and massive characters. And I thought squeezing that many into one film would just be a mess because they're all going to need their own time for their own story. But it made so much sense. It was so good. It's totally worth seeing. Even if you're not like a massive Marvel fan, I mean, I'm sure no one has never seen any of them. You know, everyone's seen at least one of the Marvel films, right? And because it's taken so long to get to that place now where it's all finally happening, and they've been teasing it for so long. You just kind of have to go. It's kind of like a rite of passage at this point, I think. So yeah, go watch it, it's good. Sticking with entertainment, I am now going to talk to you about my favourite game, which is God of War on the PlayStation, because oh my god, it's good. If you ever played The Last of Us, it's kind of got a similar feel in that you play as Kratos, who's like this big god. He's really strong and you feel powerful when you play him. But he's got a son, and him and his son have an odd relationship, and he's quite distant, and the son just wants to be loved. And I'm not going to give any spoilers, but the story is his wife and the son's mum die, and her final wish is that they take her ashes to the highest point in the land, and thus the adventure begins. And actually, as time goes on, it's so story-led, which I love. As time goes on, their relationship changes and they become closer, but then there's like turmoil along the way, and it's just brilliant. Plus, the actual game itself is excellent. Like, there's so many side quests and things to do off the beaten track, and I'm really particular about playing games. I have to make sure I aim for 100% completion. So along the way, I'm like stopping off on this corner when I should be going in that way, and I'm doing things. And it's just brilliant. The fighting's great. You feel super powerful. You have an axe and you throw it, and then you can call it back and it's into your hand. It's wicked. Totally worth playing. I tend not to buy games very often because I don't have loads of time to play them, and I don't think it's worth the investment, paying like 60 quid or whatever it is for a game and then only playing it for a few hours. But this one I have really committed to, and I just think is excellent. I have 3 items of clothing to talk to you about. The first of which is this here hoodie, which I actually happened to get in Los Angeles. It comes from 7 for All Mankind, and I went oversized. Like, usually I'm a medium, and I like my clothes fitted most of the time, but I kind of wanted a hoodie that was slouchy and comfy, and this fits the bill. I'm wearing it today with black boots and black jeans and a black biker jacket over the top, and I just feel really cool. I like it a lot. It's really simple, and I tend not to go for like big brand names or slogans or anything, but I was in LA when I got it, and it feels very LA. So yeah, I got it and I like it. Next up, I have this shirt, which is incredible. It comes from Gucci, and actually, I didn't mean to keep this shirt. I bought it for a photo shoot. In fact, you'll have seen this photo shoot. I bought it for the John Frieda shoot that I did, and I kept the labels, and I had intended to return it because it was not cheap, this shirt. I bought it just really for the shot, and I was going to take it back. But then my cleaner threw out the labels that I was putting to one side, so I had no choice but to keep it, which means I'm wearing the hell out of it because it's a really big investment. But it's so cool. This sort of Cuban collar or camp collar is really in at the moment, so great time of the year for it. Also, as the weather is turning a bit nicer, it's just lovely and also super cool. Again, a lot of my clothes are quite understated. I wear a lot of basics, and this is the very opposite. But I have worn this probably already 5 or 6 times, and every time I wear it, I get compliments. So it actually was worth the investment. I still have a lot of wearing to do to make that investment pay off, but it was worth the investment. I like it a lot. Super cool. My final item of clothing is actually a pair of trainers, and they are by Bally, and they're these guys. They just scream 80s to me. Now, the 80s are having a real revival at the minute. You've got films like Ready Player One coming out, and you've got shows like Stranger Things, and they have influenced a whole kind of fashion trend coming back round. And the 80s is a questionable time in terms of fashion, but there are nuances and there are little bits that have been kind of coming back through. And the 80s now is a really big trend. You've got double denim all over the place. You've got people wearing white socks with like light coloured jeans and rolling them up a bit. And it's kind of having a real resurgence. And these to me are just like the most 80s trainers you could find. I just think they're great. I've actually worn them so much that someone commented on my Instagram the other day saying, "Are you sleeping in them?" Because they're in like every photo I posted. In fact, there's a photo of me in LA wearing these trainers and that shirt. So I am getting lots of wear out of both items. Anyway, that is the end of my monthly favourites. I really hope you enjoyed it, and maybe I gave you a few hints and tips as to what things are happening at the moment. I don't know. But have a really good day, and I'll see you very soon. Goodbye.